Hello and welcome back to ScotlandShop on the Sofa. I'm John.
And I'm Carrie. We've been spending May delving into the fascinating stories of Clan Davidson and can't wait to share all that we've learned.
It only makes sense to start by introducing you to the origins of this mighty family. According to the Highland manuscript, the progenitor of the Davidsons was the chief of Clan Chattan, Gilly Catton Moore, who lived during the reign of David I. Moore had two sons, Muiric Moore and Boinne Dhubh. The first went on to form Clan Muiric, or Macpherson as we know today, while the second founded Clan Davidson, who we now know as Davidson.
It is commonly believed that the earliest Davidsons set up in the Spey River Valley, nestled in between the Cairngorm Mountains to the south and east and the Monalea Mountains to the north and west. In today's geography, that's the flatter land starting to the west of Latham in the Highlands and moving northeast until the sea on the Moray coast.
The family did not take long to venture away from their birthplace. They soon split into many branches and claimed territory across vast stretches of Scotland. By the end of the 14th century, the Davidson name had been recorded in Perth, Dundee and Aberdeen, and by the 16th century the clan had travelled as far south as Ayr.
Many parts of Scotland still show marks of the Davidsons' great power, including the old clan seat, which you'll be glad to hear is open for visitors. Tulloch Castle is commonly believed to have been built in the 12th century by a Norseman and was bought by Henry Davidson on the 13th of January 1762. From that point on, the castle became the family's hereditary home until the death of Duncan Davidson in 1917. The blow of losing the site must have been lessened by the role it played in the following decades, including serving as a hospital for soldiers injured in the Battle of Dunkirk. Tulloch continued to help those in need after it was purchased by the local education authority in 1957 and transformed into a hostel for students studying at the nearby Dingwall Academy. The hostel operated for many years until it closed in 1976, sadly leaving Tulloch to fall into disuse and disrepair.
Thankfully, this did not last long, as a local family called the Macaulays bought the castle in 1996, transforming it into a stately hotel. We love to think that the Davidsons' home now plays host to innumerable visitors seeking to connect with the clan. If you take a look around the site, you'll see many ancient and fascinating features remain. One of the most intriguing is a hidden secret tunnel that leads from the basement across to Dingwall Castle. The passageway is now largely collapsed, but you can still view parts of it through an air vent on the front lawn and imagine all the sneaky business your Davidson ancestors once conducted there. In the castle grounds, you can find the old family graveyard, which contains the graves of many generations of Davidsons, including pets. While it has become somewhat eerily overgrown, several of the headstones are still clearly visible, making it the perfect place to visit.
If you would prefer to visit a quieter spot, the picturesque town of Cromarty is also rich with Davidson history. Cromarty is at the tip of the Isle, which is not actually an island, about 25 miles north of Inverness. In Cromarty, the East Church is a stunning example of religious architecture, and the tranquil graveyard contains several Davidson headstones. One prominent Davidson is even commemorated in the church building, as there is a large stone memorial to Arabella Lucy Ross, daughter of the 4th Laird of Tulloch, mounted on the wall.
Just 5 minutes down the road, on a small forested hill, you can also find St Regulus graveyard, which contains 2 ornate table graves, marking the burial spot of another renowned clan member, Alexander Davidson, and his wives. If you'd like to visit a poignant Davidson site to pay your respects to your ancestors, these 2 scenic spots could be the perfect pick.
We'd now like to introduce you to some of the clan's most impressive and talented members. Randall Thomas Davidson managed to gain one of the highest positions available in the Christian church and ended up becoming a confidant to royalty.
Randall was born on the 7th of April 1848 in Edinburgh to a thriving grain merchant, Henry Davidson, and his intelligent and accomplished wife, Henrietta. Both Randall's parents were technically Presbyterians, but he insisted that the family was on the whole very undenominational. As a young boy, Randall was educated by his mother before going on to study at the prestigious Harrow and then attending Trinity College, Oxford to undertake a history and law degree. After graduating, he took up a course in London with Charles Vaughan, Master of the Temple, and was ordained in 1874. One of Davidson's Oxford friends, Crawford Tate, then helped him get his start in the church. Randall and Crawford had formed a strong bond during their university days, and Crawford's dad happened to be Archibald Campbell Tate, the Archbishop of Canterbury at the time. Both men were accepted as deacons in Tate's diocese, and Davidson clearly impressed as he was made a priest the following year.
From here, his career took off. When Tate died, Davidson was entrusted to describe the deathbed scene for Queen Victoria herself, and she was so touched by his moving account of events that she made him the Dean of Windsor. He was later assigned as the Bishop of Rochester and Bishop of Winchester, before eventually becoming the Archbishop of Canterbury in 1903. He remained close to Queen Victoria throughout her life, forming a significant part of her funeral procession in 1901 and taking responsibility for her wake.
He remained a groundbreaker until the end, becoming the first Archbishop of Canterbury to retire while in office, giving up the position in 1928 and passing it on to fellow Scotsman Cosmo Gordon Lang.
Our next famous Davidson was also undeniably a trailblazer, though arguably in a more literal sense. Arthur Davidson was one of the 4 founders of the iconic American motorbike brand Harley-Davidson. Arthur was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin to William C. Davidson from Angus, Scotland, and Margaret Adams McFarlane, who was also of Scottish descent. As a child, Arthur spent much of his time building things and taking them apart, developing a keen interest in design and engineering. When he started to work, he found a position that allowed him to foster this interest, training as a pattern maker in a Milwaukee manufacturing firm, alongside his longtime friend William Harley. While at this shop, the pair became obsessed by the idea of creating a new and exciting style of motorized bike. Davidson drew up the patterns for a small engine, while Harley designed the frame of the bicycle, and they began to make progress quickly. They soon realized that to make any more headway, they would need the help of an experienced engineer.
Luckily, there was one in the family. They recruited Davidson's brother, Walter, a railroad engineer, to join in on their efforts. Later, a third Davidson brother, William, also got involved. With the team now assembled, all that was left to do was to find a workshop. The Davidsons' father provided this, building a workroom in his back garden and painting Harley-Davidson Motor Company on the door.
By 1905, they were producing fully functional motorbikes. By the mid-1910s, Harley-Davidson was the 3rd largest motorbike manufacturer in the United States, and by 1920, they had claimed the #1 spot. Today, the company is worth nearly $6 billion and has cemented its status as one of the all-time most legendary American brands. We hope you've been as impressed by these gifted characters as we were. Make sure to check out our Famous Faces of Clan Davidson blog to learn more.
As always, we would like to finish up the show today by talking a bit about the beautiful tartans we stock here at ScotlandShop. Clan Davidson's tartan features green as its main colour, complemented by a black check pattern and interspersing red lines. We offer 2 variations, Davidson and Davidson of Tulloch Tartan. Both are available in ancient and modern, and there is also a Davidson Clan Muted. Each version showcases a different strength and depth of colour, so you are sure to find one to suit you.
Owning your own Davidson Tartan is a great way to connect with your clan ancestors, and we have plenty of options to offer you. How about a classic kilt or a flat cap? Or if you enjoy crafting, why not treat yourself to a cutting of 100% wool fabric and create your own unique Davidson furnishings or clothes?
We hope you have enjoyed listening and learning about the great Clan Davidson. If you would like to discover more, head over to our website at ScotlandShop.com, read our blogs and subscribe to our YouTube channel.